Hello everybody, and welcome to a new Game News Roundup. Well, today we are going to be discussing the latest VGChartz estimates, hardware estimates, for video game consoles for the month of April 2026. This month, the biggest change we saw this month was the fairly drastic price increase for the PlayStation 5, which has definitely hurt sales for the month. Even though the price increase in some retailers took up to 2 weeks into the month before we saw them actually increase the price. They were set the old price for the first couple weeks, and then they finally hit the new price, which in the U.S., off the top of my head, increased by about $100, from $500 to $600 for the PS5 Digital Edition, and from $550 to $650 for the PS5 with a disc drive. And I believe the PS5 Pro increased from like $750 to $900 US. Again, that's US dollars. The price of the PS5 Digital Edition and with a disc drive matches in the US of the Series X Digital Edition and the Series X with a disc drive. Those match. However, if you live in Europe, the PS5 is now more expensive than the Xbox Series X. Just as a heads up, obviously, yes, the Series S is different. It's just like for like, this PS5 and Series X are very similar power-wise, which is why I'm comparing those two specifically. So yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2 was the best-selling video game console worldwide for April 2026, with an estimate, again, these are based on our estimates, on the data we collect, extrapolated to get worldwide, which is we do adjust when we get, if more data becomes available, like earnings reports every quarter from Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, although less so for Microsoft of late, because they get very little information on their actual sales. And then any other information that's come out, tweaks and adjustments do occur. But yeah, so that's why we say these are estimates. So according to our estimates, again, 877,000 Switch 2 consoles were sold for the month of April, which is a 4-week month. And the Switch 2 has sold 19.6 million units lifetime, again, estimated. Sell-through, sold to consumers, while earnings reports, Sony and Nintendo, their figures is shipment figures, selling. So yeah, the PS5 was the second best-selling console with an estimated 435,000 units sold. To bring lifetime sales to 91.95 million units, the Switch 1 came in third place with just under 200,000 units, to bring its lifetime sales up to 154.65 million units. And the Xbox Series X and S came in fourth place for the first time, dropping below 100,000 units with 98,000 units sold, to bring its lifetime sales up to an estimated 34.67 million units. Now, comparing generations, like for like, through the same equivalent month, Switch 2 sales compared to the same month for the Switch 1 in 2018, so this is Switch 1 April 2018 sales, are up by nearly 242,000 units. The Switch 1 had sold 637,000 units in April 2018. PS5 and Series X compared to the equivalent month for the PS4 and Xbox One are not looking great. The PS5 is falling further behind the PS4 and Xbox Series. Well, it's going to come nowhere near the Xbox One. Probably about 20 million behind lifetime when things are said and done, roughly, give or take. PS5 sales compared to the same month for the PS4 in 2019, it's equivalent year, are down by over 360,000 units in the Series X and S compared to the same month. For the Xbox One, are down by over 162,000 units. Nearly 800,000 PS4s were sold and 260,000 Xbox Ones were sold in April of 2019. Year over year, PS5 sales compared to the same month a year ago are down 312,000 units, or 41.7%. And Xbox Series X and S sales are down 113,000 units, or 53.6%. And Nintendo Switch 1 sales are down by 181,000 units, 47.6%. And obviously, Switch 2 was not out a year ago. It'll be in June. Once we get to June, we'll see a year-over-year comparison. Obviously, sales are going to be way down in June, considering that was the launch month, with a record-breaking launch for the Switch 2. Month-on-month, although, to note, this is going from March to April sales, and our March estimates include 5 weeks of sales compared to 4 weeks for April, which is why everything is down across the board. Switch 2 sales are down by nearly 800,000 units, over 799,000 units, compared to March. Obviously, one less week, and Pokemon Pokopio came out at the beginning of March and caused a huge influx of Switch 2 sales. PS5 sales are down by over 422,000 units, again, obviously, April, we saw the price increase, and Xbox Series X and S sales are down by over 42,000 units, and the Switch 1 sales are down by nearly 39,000 units again, month on month. 2026 year to date. So, January through April of this year, the Switch 2 is a little over 4 million units. PS5, 2.5 million units. Switch 1, 840,000 units. And the Series X and S, just a hair under 500,000 units sold in 4 months. Here, obviously, the kicker is how much is the price increase going to be affecting the PS5? Because it was only part of the month in April. Our sales are going to be dropping a lot more in May compared to last year. Or even just compared to April. We'll see when more data comes out. Obviously, we are still in May. We don't have a ton of data available yet for me to suggest, like, we'll see where things go. My gut's telling me sales are probably going to go down even more in May compared to April, but we'll see. You never know. You never know. And then, obviously, we'll see what Sony does with the holidays. If we'll have any deals like last year, obviously, it'll still be more expensive than last year. But maybe we'll still see, like, $100 off deal like we saw last year. Obviously, it'll still be more expensive, but you never know. And then obviously Grand Theft Auto 6, which is coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Yeah, we can scroll down here if anyone wants to check out sales in other parts of the world. Like we already went through the worldwide estimates, our estimates through the Americas, which is US, Canada, and Latin America combined. Switch 2, 332,000 units sold across the Americas, 152,000 PS5, 66,000 Xbox Series X and S, and 39,000, just under 40,000 Switch 1s sold. And obviously the big kicker here, you look at the Series X. More than two-thirds of its sales came from the Americas. Xbox is very America-centric. And if you subtract the UK, it's even more so. You remove... Basically, Xbox does okay sales in the Americas, UK, I guess you say even Oceania-ish. Yeah, and then Europe, Switch 2, best-selling console for the month of Europe, with nearly 200,000 units sold, 196,000, nearly 136,000 PS5 sold, nearly 31,000 for the Switch 2s, and nearly 24,000 for the Xbox Series. In Asia, you can see here, Switch 2, the 319,000 units, PS5 with 128,000, with people buying it before the price increase at the beginning of the month and whatnot. Switch 122,000. Series X is practically dead in Asia. Japan, mainland Asia, and Middle East. A little over 3,000 sold for the month. Oceania, 29,000 for the Switch 2. Nearly 18,000 for the PS5. 6,200 for the Switch 1. And 5,000 for the Xbox Series X and S. Again, estimated sales. And if we go on the front page here, we kind of have a better look at the numbers here. This is worldwide lifetime sales here for the 4 current main consoles. Obviously, we got the Switch 2 here at the top. I mean, you can ignore the market share percent because it's not the best thing to be looking at here. But, 19.6 million for the Switch 2. But then you can see 154 million. Switch 1, almost 92 million for the PS5. 34.6 million for the Series X and S. And if you want to take a look here, again, other breakdown sales here. If you want to check it out, all the links will be down below in the description. And I don't think we had any console. Yeah, not worldwide. The Switch 1 is slowly working its way towards the PS2. Is there enough gas left in the tank? That's the question. Is there enough gas for the Switch to pass the PS2? It's leaning more towards no, but it's not impossible at this point. I think it's more likely to just miss it, to be 158 to 159 million lifetime. But can it top 160 million past the PS2? We'll see. We'll see. And then we got the PS5 in 8th place here. Just under 92 million. With the price increase, it's going to take a lot longer. But even so, it should eventually... I mean, maybe this holiday, depending on how Grand Theft Auto 6 boosts sales. We'll see. If not, next year for sure. I'll pass the Wii and the PS1. To move to 6th place. Now, is there going to be enough gas with the price increase, following the price increase to pass the PS4? It comes down to when is the PS6 coming out. If it comes out next holiday, and holiday 2027, excuse me, and not likely. If it doesn't come out to holiday 2020, holiday 2029, yeah, odds are a little bit higher. But obviously with the huge price increase, it's really hurting sales so far. So Yeah, we'll keep an eye on VGChartz for the sales over the coming months to see how much the price increases hurt. PS5 says because they've definitely hurt Xbox sales by far. And then obviously we'll see come September the price increase on the Switch 2. If you have missed that, yes, the price is going up for the Switch 2 come September 1st by $50. Or a little bit less in some other places. And then the price increase is happening in Japan first, later this... Actually, I think today, might be today, the price went up in Japan. But everywhere else, it's not until September. And then, as I've mentioned plenty of times on these videos, Xbox Series X and S, 34.67 million. It is not topping the SNES, not a chance. It is staying in 17th place. Xbox is 158 million sold lifetime. The Series X and S, as I said, is probably going to finish like 28-ish, about 20-ish million, give or take, within a couple mil. Lifetime, but we'll see. Of course, this is depending on how accurate our estimates here on VGChartz, since we don't have shipment numbers from Microsoft. And just through the first few years, it basically said it was the fastest selling Xbox ever, but then they stopped saying it. So it's like, okay, so that quarter, what they stopped saying is when it fell behind the Xbox One launch alliance. And then obviously sales have dropped like a rock the last couple of years, which is no bueno. No bueno. Not that sales are like, I mean, they're not good, but it's not like they're, how do we put this? As everyone goes, Wii U or PlayStation Vita sales, still going to be selling nearly triple that, potentially triple those two lifetime. But obviously, you look at the amount of money Microsoft has put into it and all the studios they've acquired. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things go. But yeah, that is going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, as always, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time with some more gaming news, gaming sales, and gaming industry information.